Greetings and welcome to Rant and Rank, the show where we come together and rant about and rank your favorite studio artists. With me today, I have the man who is everything to everyone, Jason.
Hello, hello, hello.
Also, the man who would like to let you know that portions of today's broadcast are brought to you by electronic tape, Ed.
I don't know.
And Joe, whose cover of Brown Eyed Girl is better than both Lagwagon and Everclear's.
Brown eyed girl.
What?
It's
I gotta
true.
hear that.
It's true. So, as you know, we come together, we rank studio albums. We do this in a completely uncivilized way. Housekeeping. Please hit that subscribe button. We'd really, really appreciate it. It helps us a lot. Thank you for the however many people are at this point. Oh, yeah.
47. You could be
47.
number 50.
That's right. That have subscribed to us. We appreciate you. Hopefully, you hit that notification button and get our new videos. They generally come out on
Well,
Monday,
I
Wednesday,
I do
Friday.
still have to subscribe, so
What are you
I'm
doing?
Are you serious?
I'm just kidding.
I was about to say I'm about to put a different picture over Ed's face.
Uh huh.
Um,
I'm joking.
good. There you go. There you go. So
Uh,
join our or subscribe here and join our Patreon. Shout out to So Fucking Rad. I just said it. I didn't go to the Sofa King. I just said So Fucking. Sofa King Rad for being our gold Patreon member. We will be doing Weezer next week. No,
oh, I
Yeah,
is
he
it
get
next
picked
week?
it. I
Weezer.
get it. I get it. I was wondering.
Yep. Yep.
That's clever. I like that.
Did
And
y'all ever?
shout out
Sorry.
to Skrunkly in the Discord and Caroline Hale in the Facebook group.
There you go. And shout out to Isis and Kyle if you're watching this. You should be subscribed to us. Have y'all ever watched Portlandia?
I hate that show.
What do you mean you hate that show?
I hate that guy.
Hilarious.
No,
He's
he is horrible.
sometimes we're low. Anyway, Jeff Goldblum's on there. He has the Pullout King portion. Really funny. Um, okay, yeah, join our socials. So come talk with us on Discord. We've been showing off some really cool albums, some vinyl, and what was the gentleman's name who showed off a whole thingamajig? I just closed Discord, so I don't know your name. He just showed off
I
like
think was it Trash Boat?
could be Trash Boat.
I think it was Trash Boat.
Trash Boat, you get too many shout outs, man. Anyway,
And
yeah, he
like
had a lot of stuff.
honestly, like guys, join the Discord and Patreon, and please request something these two jackasses don't like, because it's cool what we're covering, but we need some reggae, right? We need some hip hop.
This
We
man
need
made
some
me listen
branch out.
to the White Stripes. I don't want to hear shit.
Hey man, those are glorious albums.
Great, great music.
It is.
Karaoke
It
style vocals. Okay, so this week our heroes are discussing Everclear. Everclear, that's the band that we're going with this week. So literally every album. Ed, give us your number 9.
Wait,
Oh
you're missing
God damn it!
something.
I do this all the time. Jason, how many times have I done this?
I'd
30
have
or
to
so.
look it up. Yeah, we're up to like 20 something. I
All
think.
right.
We're gonna
Yeah,
start to like writing you up and like
I
be
know
like,
it.
nah,
You
you're
would
not getting
think
paid this week.
you would think just out of general, muscle memory, I would remember to ask you how you know the band, how you got into the band.
Okay, so it was after. I actually do remember this because it was after Nirvana. I mean, and I've been learning Nirvana chords and riffs from everybody. Like, I had friends at school. Jason taught me a lot, and my friend Michael Burnham also showed me because he played bass. He showed me a little bit. Anyway, so it was after that where I actually picked up a guitar and I hit that G power chord, and I went na 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 na, and I let open up na na. I think it was a G. It's a G. It's a G. I think. And I was, hey, this sounds like that song on the radio. I had no idea who the band was, but I do remember like that was one of the first songs other than Nirvana that I figured out on my own. And now, of course, everybody knows it. But back then, we didn't have we didn't have the internet to show us. But it was interesting.
Awesome. I think you. I don't know if you froze out on Jason's screen as much as you did on mine, but
No, he's there. He's a little blurry though.
okay, maybe it's just blurry. Jason, how do you know Everclear?
Same song. I mean, the Santa Monica when it came out. I went out and got Sparkle and Fade.
I think I was a little later than both. I mean, obviously Santa Monica came on the radio and I'd heard it, but I think that it was till So Much for the Afterglow that
So
I really heard them.
now I remember because MTV played the crap out of Santa Monica.
They did, and that's why maybe I'm mixing up my timelines there. What is it, 2 year difference? So maybe somewhere in there. So I know them because of either
I think
Santa
that's
Monica or
Frozen.
that.
So that
Oh,
song,
he's definitely frozen.
Yep.
We can hear you though.
Frozen.
Keep going.
Yeah,
Huh.
we can hear you.
Well, that song came out in '95. The album came out in '95. I didn't hear that till like '97, '98. So it was around for a long time already. You know, by the
I mean,
time
I
that.
lived off of MTV from like 92 to 97 ish.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember when Santa Monica playing, like, it was what was it called? The Buzz.
Yeah.
Buzzworthy, something of that nature.
Yeah. I miss
Um,
MTV.
yeah, MTV was fun back then. I mean, I remember. I can't tell you how many times I've seen Jeremy by Pearl Jam. They just played it nonstop. I swear, it came on like twice an hour.
Oh, yeah.
Santa Monica, I saw a lot of, and I was like, "Who in the
We'll
hell
get
is
to
this?"
Pearl Jam and their history with MTV and videos. It's kind of
Yeah.
interesting.
All right, so that's kind of how everybody knew them. Obviously, high school was a big time period for me with Everclear. Once I left high school, I kind of left Everclear behind. So that's kind of the finish up wrapping of my story. But
I
Ed, give
was all,
us.
I was already, well, I guess 97. I guess I was in 11th grade. Never mind.
Oh, remind me once we go off air, Jason. I've got to tell you a fun story.
All right, when we go
I've
off
never,
air,
I've
tell
never
me a
got
fun
to say the
story.
phrase "when we go off air" before, so I'm kind of proud of that. That's
I
nice.
reminded you right then.
That's right. It's on film. Ed, give us number 9.
Did you say film? You're so old. Um, my number 9. Can you see me?
We can
All right.
kind of.
My number 9. All right. Well, my number 9 is Black. Black is the new Black. Is that the name of the album?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this album was horrible. I don't really have much to say about it. I just did not like it at all. Um, it was painful to listen to. It wasn't my bag. And that's it.
Okay. Okay. Jason, what about your number 9?
I'm gonna follow up. So I stopped listening to Everclear. I guess. Well, no. I guess I listened to them all the way up to this album. I just didn't hear this album until we decided to do Everclear for some reason. But this album is hard, or it's horrible. I don't like hard Everclear. Um, like You is really dark lyrically, but the music just kills it. It's awful. Again, this is your death song. It has great lyrics about losing a friend, and it would have worked a hell of a lot better with that Afterglow sound. That Everclear dun dun sound. It would have been really good. But overall, this album is just corny and bad. And sorry if anybody actually likes this album out there. I don't know, but there's too many people on that cover. There should only be 3.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
I
you
still
can
don't know
definitely
who
you
the
can
hell
de-
these people are.
you can definitely tell that the other members were gone, long and gone by this period. So it's only Art, I think, left. I
Well,
think
the
now.
last, I think they left after Slow Motion Daydream, I think, wasn't it?
Either before or after Slow Motion Daydream.
I think the Slow Motion was the last one with the original band.
I read up on that and I slapped. Can't remember. I'm going to switch it up a little bit from y'all.
Oh God.
My
Oh
number
God.
9 is Welcome to the Drama Club. So Welcome to the Drama Club is just as bad as an album as Black is the New Black, except someone found a keyboard and got real excited and started playing the keys, and it's just not. It doesn't do it for me. I don't understand what's going on there. They're just happy. It's just as bad of an album, but I don't know. At least Black is the New Black. You're like, okay, we're listening to a rock band, and it's kind of standard rock. It's not good. It's just kind of standard rock. Welcome to the Drama Club. It's like
Man, what you got against keyboards, man? The Get Up Kids.
good
Come on.
keyboards are amazing. Bad keyboards.
Dude, don't even bring the Get Up Kids around me, okay? This is not gonna work.
How many
10
minutes? How many minutes is it to downtown?
Dude, shut up, Jason. I don't want to talk
It's
about
only
it,
10,
okay?
baby. It's only 10.
We'll tell that story when we do Green Day.
I don't really have a lot to talk about this terrible album. I mean, it's this isn't one with Spike, so at least they got that going for them.
Yeah, at least they got that.
I didn't mind Portland Rain. I thought Portland Rain was an okay song. I thought that could have really been a Songs from American Movie Volume 1 song and like done in a different style.
Ooh. Excuse me.
Bless you. So there we are. Slow Motion Daydream. Jason, give us your number 8.
All right. Well, my number 8 is Sparkling Fate. No.
I almost spit beer on my computer.
You got your sign ready, Joe?
That's right. I don't have it yet.
Mine is Slow Motion Daydream.
Really?
All right.
I'll make a sign.
Wow.
The opening track is good. How to Win is another good one. Blackjack sucks. Ed, I'm sorry. Volvo Driving Soccer Mom is dumb.
Oh my god.
TV show is
That's not the bad part.
TV show is the first time it really sounds to me like Everclear. So that one's okay. That's about it, though. The rest of the album does nothing for me. And I don't like this album. I never have. That's it.
I can't change it for some reason, but y'all wrong.
You got it bad.
I don't know how to change it at the moment.
It is definitely a slow motion nightmare.
Man, you can't. Okay. So, I'm not saying the Volvo Driving Soccer Mom is like, like the pinnacle of songwriting or anything. Okay, I'm not saying that, but man, out of all the punk music that you listen to, and all these songs that are funny, you can't tell me that song doesn't make you smile. I mean, that's the whole point of that. So I think that's why I like it. It's not that it's like iconic or everybody remembers it, but I think we're gonna get to the songs. But I think that song,
tiny handwriting.
I think that song serves its purpose in that record. It's like, I don't know, it's a funny song. It's not meant to be. I like those kind of songs, the ones that are
well, you have hashtag I want to bone your mom bias.
I do not, but I do like that song. Song.
Here's the thing about that song. I thought it was, when I first heard that CD or that album, it was fine. I was like, okay, it's a dumb song in the middle of an album.
Yeah.
When I listen to it again, I'm like, this is just a dumb song.
Okay.
Yes,
if you have a dumb song in the middle of a good album, I can get past that. You have a dumb song in the middle of a bad album.
I respect that. I'm not talking about I'm not defending the album. We're gonna get to that in a minute, but I think that's one of the highlights of the album because it's funny.
That
cracks me up. I mean, it's catchy. I guess it's better than a lot of the other stuff on that album. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's still just it's a dumb song. I don't care for Volvo Driving Soccer Mom. Somebody like Art has wrote some of the lyrics he's wrote. It's just not. It's not a good Everclear song.
Man, I mean, honestly, you can tell by that album they're either they were getting tired of each other or they were just over it. I think that's what the vibe I get from it. But,
I think they tried something new because their last album bombed, and it didn't work.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I don't know how big Volvo Driving Soccer Mom was. I think it was a decent hit, maybe, for the time.
I guess it's the hit off that
album.
I
read that the album wasn't backed by the record label. I think that was it.
Because the record label said this album sucks.
Remember. Yeah, probably.
Y'all, I mean, we're going to revisit Slow Motion Daydream, don't you worry. Down the line, we'll revisit.
Its connection is really bad. Yes. He is like staticky and fuzzy and
robotic a little bit.
Yeah, you might want to disconnect and reconnect.
Okay, I'll be back.
I'm going to talk about...
Nope, we're not talking about shit. We're going to edit all this out.
All right, so my number 8, even though Jason is very, very wrong with his, and we're gonna talk more about this, is Black is the New Black. It's not good. It doesn't have somebody getting weird on the keyboard, so there's its benefit. The music is actually, that was one of the things I was like, oh, okay. We've kind of gotten to a point where the music isn't just weird and terrible, just your songs are. So that's what's fun. The Man Who Broke His Own Heart. Okay. I think that has the makings of an okay song. It actually has the makings of a good song. There's just things in it I'm just like, eh. That's it. That's all I've got. That's all I've got for you.
This is why it's bad to do these 90s bands that we really liked one album from.
Mm-hmm.
Because we had to listen to a bunch of stuff like this.
I remember Everclear very, very fondly.
I do too, but...
And we'll get to why I remember them fondly as we progress. The rest of this can just fall off the face of the earth. Ed, give us your number 8.
Yeah, my number 8 is going to be Welcome to the Drama Club.
As it should.
This is just a low album. It's nothing memorable from this album, really. I don't know. It just seems at this point in their career, like at least as the band, because I mean, I think the members weren't here. The other two were not here anymore here either. Like you can tell that it was. I don't know what they were trying to do, man. Honestly, like it just was not.
They found a keyboard.
They found a keyboard. I didn't mind it. I mean, I don't know. It's just not. It doesn't sound like Everclear. It doesn't have that sound, you know. And that's important for a band like this to have that sound. Because the thing is, that sound is what got him big, and you abandon that. You know, people are like, yeah. So that's all I got.
All right, yeah. I mean, like I said, it was like the Macklemore song. They found a broken keyboard. He bought a broken keyboard, and then he started using that shit on this album.
Look, we always talk about bands like having to grow and change their sound. Some bands don't need to. I think Everclear didn't really need to. I think he nailed that sound, and they should have just kept putting. If they would have kept putting out, that sound, it would have been okay. Like Dinosaur Jr. Dinosaur Jr. spits out the same album every time, and it's fantastic.
Well, or even if they're going to change things, they shouldn't do a whole album. Like they should have the sound and then change the thing here and there. that's my beef, But I don't know. I didn't like this one very much.
All
right. So my number 7 is going to be. Hold, please. I keep mixing these up, even when I was trying to talk about it. Songs from American Movie Volume 2. Good Time for a Bad Attitude.
I am shocked.
I'm
shocked.
Looking back on this, I thought I liked this album.
I've been telling you for years this album was trash.
This album is so bad. It's not as bad as the previous two, but it's still like that's a whole nother level. But this album, I always look back and said, okay, I really like the Songs from American Movie Volume 1 a whole lot. Songs from American Movie Volume 2 isn't that bad. That's kind of what my thought process was, but it is that bad. There's not a lot going on here. I don't understand what they were doing, and even I read up on them. They were talking about how the label released it pretty quickly without like giving it time to breathe. A lot of people thought AM Radio was a single from this album because of how quickly things happened.
Yeah, I did. I thought it was.
And so the things that come on, like the hits from it, When It All Goes Wrong Again, isn't a good song. I mean, it's just not. It's not great. Baby Talk.
This is the one with Spike on it, right?
Yeah, Baby Talk is the one with Spike. That song is so bad. This is a song about Spike. Just such a bad song. The only thing that really helps this album, gets it up to number 7 instead of 8 and 9, is Halloween Americana and Songs from American Movie Part 2. That's all I've got for you on this one.
Because they seem off of this album.
I can't tell you a lot about Rockstar.
I jammed to that one.
It was a single, apparently.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was. Yeah.
But yeah, after my listen, I was like, whew, this is rough. Ed, give us number 7.
Yeah, I'm actually going to follow you up on that. I think Songs from American Movie Volume 2. I really once we get to the art though, I got some good things to say about that. But oh man, this album, I don't know. It's in 2000s, and I get what they were going to, because I do remember the sound of a lot of bands coming out of 2000s. It was very there were everybody was trying to mesh things together. I did enjoy Rockstar. When it all goes wrong again, that was a good song. I thought it was entertaining. Out of my depth. Uh, but yeah, songs from an American movie. That was the last track on there was good. I don't know, man. I just did not like it. Other than that, I had a couple of songs in there that I enjoyed, but it wasn't like a full album that I would go back and listen to. You know?
To me, it was like the bad takes from the first. They were like, "Oh, these are the songs that could never make it on the first one."
Yeah, yeah. They did that. They do have that kind of throwaway song feel to them. I think like they just didn't songs that did not were not meant to be on an album, like Joe was saying. But yeah. Anyways,
Jason, give us another controversial pick.
No, I mean,
So much for the Afterglow. Come on, do it.
y'all gonna make me defend this stupid ass album, but it's Welcome to the Drama Club. I don't mind the keyboard too much, but I will say every Everclear album has a really good opening track, except this one. This one is awful. But that being said, um, Glorious is a good song. It's happy. He's found somebody new. If you followed the American movie story, that's a good thing. Clean's about his daughter growing up. I wish that could hurt for you when you're learning how to fall. You are the reason that I'm alive today. You're the reason that I've changed my life in a wonderful way. Which is kind of again another. It's kind of like American movie, just years later, which is nice. I mean, that's a good song. Other than that, the rest of it's trash. So, Shine is just embarrassing. That was horrible.
You didn't like Portland Rain?
Not really, no.
Man, that was the only one I thought like kind of gave that any kind of grace whatsoever.
You and I always,
That's
I'm
true.
like, this is the only good song. And you're like, no, this is the only good song. It's not the same song.
I mean, this ain't a top song. Spoiler alert.
No,
Portland Rain is not a top song, but I thought it was good stuff. Or I thought for that album it was a good song. Ed, give us number 6.
uh, all right.
man, you got to get your
For
kids
number
off Fortnite.
6,
That man is frozen.
yeah, they're doing their thing. They're doing their thing. Slow Motion Daydream is the one that
Boy, y'all a bunch
I'll
of haters.
I'll pick on here.
Because
And
it sucks.
and I mean, no, these albums are inferior though. I think to what their sound was, and this one does have Volvo Driving Soccer Mom. I really do like that song. I think it's catchy and I think it's funny. So that's what I'm
Spoiler
going to.
alert for top songs.
Watch your
We
moms.
already talked already talked about that. Um, and I like the sound. I like a lot of these songs. I could go back and listen to some of these songs in this album. Not just Volvo Driving Soccer Mom, but like what is it? I enjoyed Blackjack. That was a good one. And what was the other one? Somewhere at the end. I think it was New York Times or White Noise. One of those two I like. But anyways, again, it's not one that will get on Vine or anything. But I would give this one a second listen, just because it does have a little bit more of I think like a little residue of the sound they had before. I think, in my opinion.
My notes say Blackjack sucks.
Blackjack's not good.
Well, it must have been that. Maybe it was another one.
There's good stuff on there. We'll talk about that. Jason, give us number 6.
All right. Number 6 is going to be Songs from an American Movie, Part 2, Good
Okay.
Times for a Bad Attitude. And
This is a song about Spike.
fuck Spike. So, I hate having to even talk about this now because I'd rather talk about it later. But so the two albums are a concept album. He went through a divorce, and I'll talk more about the first one later. But the second one is the harder side, and it's just a bitter album. The whole album is just him being bitter and spiteful and let's see. When it all goes wrong again's a good opening. Slide, they put some stupid effects on his voice. Baby and Rockstar are dumb. Short blonde hair is good though. Throwback to learning how to smile. The Good Witch of the North is a damn good song. Should have been on part one. All Fucked Up is a fast punk song that just doesn't work coming from Everclear. The winner here is Song from an American Movie Part 2, the closing track. Same notes as the opening from Part 1, just more electric. It talks about picking up his little girl, the shared custody part. The only thing that ever made sense to me is the words to a song from an American movie, but he changes the other line to Alive and Happy in the Summertime, which is, again, it's kind of hard to talk about this. I'm not talking about the other one, but it ends it on a better note. It ends the whole concept on a happier note about wanting to find somebody new and starting over. But you could take that song, Short Blonde Hair, and The Good Witch, put them on part one, and you'd have probably the best Everclear album. Would have been one epic album.
Yeah, it'd been a good album.
Man,
And when we get to that, when we get to part one, I'll tell you which songs you could replace them with too.
My number 6 can easily be switched my number 5. I think these two are. If I listen to this one, it may jump up to number 5 more. But this was really my only listen through, so I'm gonna put Invisible Stars at number 6. I like Invisible Stars. I don't think that it's a bad album whatsoever. I just think that, like I said, I've heard 5 through 1 a million times. I haven't heard this one a million times. But I like Tiger in a Burning Tree. I thought that was I like the title a lot. I don't know if the song completely fulfills it, but it's a good song. Jackie Robinson's amazing. Rocket for the Girl's a really good song. Be Careful What You Ask For, I enjoyed. Falling in a Good Way.
was a good song, that too.
Yeah. So there's a lot of it's weird for this listen through to jump in and go, okay, we've got a terrible album, Welcome to Drama Club.
Two terrible albums.
You went back with Invisible Stars and you made a good album. This is an album where I don't think there's anything to be ashamed of making Invisible Stars. And then you followed it with Black is the New Black, and you're like, why did you? You should have just ended on Invisible Stars. Just go out with on a high note. That'd have been amazing. But so good album. I really enjoyed it. Like I said, I think 5 and 6 may flip if I listen to it more, but on this first listen through, we have what we have. Jason, give us your number 5.
Number 5 is World of Noise. This is a good record. # first album bias, but it's just the sound quality is horrible. And I know you guys probably heard it on Apple and Spotify and shit. They remastered it for the 30th anniversary. It still sounds like crap because Art had a busted amp when he recorded it. I mean, there's no fixing it. It just sounds like trash. But the songs are really good. It lives up to the title. It's noisy as hell. Nervous and Weird is great. Pennsylvania, Malavent or Small Hints of What Everclear would turn into. Loser Makes Goods, another sad song about a friend getting shot, which is actually a true story. I don't know if y'all look that up. It would if I would have loved them to have re-recorded this during the height of their period because it's the songs are really good. It's just the sound quality takes it down.
I'm a follow right behind you with World of Noise. His voice also sounds very different in this from what we know of, know and love of Art Alexakis. In times you can hear his, like a normal voice, and then other times you're like, that doesn't sound anything like the lead singer of Everclear. But yeah, I think Your Genius Hands is amazing. I love Sick and Tired. Fire Maple World is amazing. Nervous and Weird's a really good one. We hear about Electra, a blind Electra. We'll hear about Electra making him blind later on. Uh, Trust Fund is fun. Loser makes good. Invisible, Malevolent. But I think that there's a lot of really good songs, and I'm like you. If they would have re-recorded this album after like So Much for the Afterglow, I think that'd have been a really badass album.
Oh yeah,
They
that would have
really
been
could
top
have done
tier.
a lot of cool things with this. Ed, where are you at?
Invisible Stars. I think this one belongs in the mid. It's mid tier.
That's what the kids say
Uh,
nowadays.
That's
It's
right.
mid.
it's mid.
See, we're hip.
That's right. We know the lingo. It's
Augers.
man, it's just it does have good songs, just like it's like the other one. It has some good tracks. I think you guys already talked about, Joe already talked about it, but it's just not one that you would definitely. I wouldn't get it on vinyl because it's just not something that I could listen to
Oh, I
from top
would.
to bottom. You know. But, I mean, it does have. I like Volcano. I like I'm Better Without You. Aces. I thought those were good songs, and I think Aces was a single from here. I can't
I
remember.
believe so.
Yeah. Um, and it has some good songs to go back to. It's just Rocket for the Girl.
That's a good one.
That's a good one too. But yeah, it's just an album that it's good. Part of it is good. It just kind of belongs, I think, in the mid section.
All right. I believe that pulls me up here. So my number 4 is going to be Slow Motion Daydream. Both of you put this too low. Ed, you're not too
You
far
put
off.
this too damn high.
This is a really good album that sounds different from Everclear. It starts off really good. How to Win Friends and Influence People is really good. I don't really care about Blackjack. That's not a. I pretend that song doesn't exist in my head all the time.
Stupid.
I Want to Die a Beautiful Death is great. Volvo Driving Soccer Mom is a dumb song, but it's a fun dumb song. I
Ed's
was like, I
mouth
get it.
just switched.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Ed's
It's a
mouth
fun
just
song.
switched.
Yeah, it's
I'm gonna
alright.
zoom. I'm gonna put that on a TikTok.
So, and the thing about this album, like going through all the science fiction, I like. TV show's good. Chrysanthemum is an amazing song. Sunshine, That Acid Summer's great. Beautiful Life, The New York Times, White Noise, all great songs, and they have a very unique sound and like musical opening to most of them. And a lot of them like bleed into each other, which is something I love in albums. They go through even. When Volvo Driving Soccer Mom, like the end of it, bleeds into science fiction like really, really well.
It bleeds together like when my cat Pumpkin goes to the litter box and takes a crap, and then the other cat comes in there and takes a crap right next to it, and then puts them together. That's how it bleeds together.
Science fiction's such a great song.
Man,
This album was really good.
I thought you were about to bring blood into.
I
It
did
was
too.
weird
I don't
for a
know why.
minute.
Yeah,
I was like,
I got
what's
that way
going
too.
on here?
I was
Yeah.
like, doo doo and blood or something. I don't know what we're doing.
I was like,
Y'all ain't
cats and blood.
No, but I just think this has a very unique sound, and I really like how his voice fits into it, and I like how the songs like bleed into each other. I think that it's a really cool thing. Now, this is an album that I would never recommend anybody listening to Everclear, but I love.
See,
It's something that if somebody that already, hey, what else from Everclear would you recommend? And I'd be like, okay, well, if you like these albums,
Invisible Stars.
it's not as good, but you can listen to this one. Yeah, that's a mid album.
we'll get to that at the end. We'll do the what number would you recommend?
Yeah, I already know mine, and it doesn't start here. Which I mean, like I said, I love this album. I think that there are a lot of really good songs. I think it's a really cool blend of music, and they do a lot of unique, neat things, and especially coming off of Songs from American Movie Volume 2.
After one, they just went
Yeah,
for a while.
they jump back up briefly.
Ed,
give us your number 4.
World of Noise.
Okay.
It's a good. I think Jason talked about it. It was good first album. It has a. I really like the writing on here. I think it started. You could clearly see that this guy was meant to be a star. Like I just like the way that he writes, the way that he structures songs too. You kind of see the beginning of it, and I really like that. It's the same reason, like why I put Bleach above in utero because I like to see the beginning.
Oh God.
Uh-oh.
All right.
Uh-oh,
I
here we
know what
go.
I
I'm
like
talking
to
about.
What
see
y'all gonna
how
do?
they could possibly good be songwriters, but then they come out with an album that is so much better. But I'm gonna put this one first.
What
Your
y'all gonna
logic
do?
is
You in
flawed.
Colorado and in Texas. Y'all ain't gonna do nothing. That's
Shit,
right.
we all grew up in
Anyways.
Alabama. Don't be talking.
Mm-hmm.
We're in the mean
We
streets
get
of
Anyways.
Bamonette and Daphne, Alabama.
we'll get to that Leonard
Oh
Skinner. We'll show
Lord.
you what we do.
That's all
Oh
right.
no, I don't know if I'm allowed to talk in that one. Anyway, so
Turn it
like
up.
turn up
38 special, motherfucker.
good album, good first album. Is I got on my notes that is not if you like pop Everclear, this might not be the album you like. This is, but it's not heavy either. So I don't know where to put it, like genre wise. Hard rock, I guess, or I don't know. I don't know what it is, but I like it. I think it's fresh and new. It's
I
not the
think
Everclear. It's not as bad as that. The darker album with all the band members. I forget the name of it, but
if you were to
it
consider Everclear pop rock, then I think if they re-recorded this album with the same quality that they did,
yeah,
at
yeah.
Afterglow or whatever, I think it would be a damn good pop record, pop
It
record.
could be turned
Mm-hmm.
into absolutely. It could be turned into it, but I'm judging it from what I heard, which is not. You know, I don't think
It's
the
because
sound.
the sound is just his guitar was
Yeah,
blown, his amp was
When
blown.
you told me he had a blown amp, I was like, aha, aha, that makes sense.
makes sense. Yeah,
Yeah,
it does make a lot of sense. But anyways, great opening track, Eugenia's Hands. I love that one. There's another one in here that I mean, I like the album, but they're like that one, and I want to say Nervous and Weird or Malevolent. One of those two was super awesome.
yeah, those are both good.
Um,
Yeah, I think those are both
and
great.
yeah, I can't. I mean, I listen. I'm definitely adding some of these to my playlist because I haven't heard this album before. This run through, and I've listened to a few of them like 3 or 4 times now. So,
Oh, I went
but
back
anyways, yeah.
when I got Sparkle and Fade on CD. I went back and got World of Noise, and I'm like, what the fuck?
You and I did the same thing pretty much. Because I got Sparkle and Fade, I was like, man, this is fucking amazing. You know, not just Santa Monica, but this is good. And I was like, well, what's the album before this? And it's World of Noise, and I bought that, and I was like, what in the fuck is all this noise?
Uh huh.
Because it was just noise. I was like, man,
Because
they nailed it.
at least the 30th anniversary, they cleaned it up a little bit, but the original was rougher.
It was
Yeah,
hard to
I haven't
understand.
heard the original. I've only heard the remastered one.
I
I
had the
don't.
CD of it. It was rough.
It used to sit in my giant CD Bible, and I never get played.
Yeah.
Just ever. Jason, what's your number 4?
I don't know. What am I at? World of Noise?
Uh-huh.
Oh, okay. I'm at Invisible Stars.
Okay.
This album's good. To me, this is Everclear. This is, what is the gap here?
Mm-hmm.
From, it took them 12 years to get back to good Everclear. I mean, that's pretty impressive. You know, I remember when this album came out. I can't remember if we were really talking much. I think you were traveling a lot. We kind of didn't talk as much, and I was traveling because it was 2012. But I was like, "Holy crap, this album's good." The opening track's good. Falling in a Good Way is old school Everclear. I mean, it's, you want that dun, 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 that's there. Life Goes South when Pretty Goes Away. The best you can get is When You're Falling in a Good Way. Be Careful What You Ask For is another great one. I'm Sorry We're Living in a Car. This Isn't What You Wanted When You Gave Me Your Heart. I mean, those are like fucking Everclear lyrics.
Yes.
Volcano is great. Jackie Robinson.
Yes.
It's got that
Volcano was a
funky,
good tune.
yeah, it's got that funky piano.
Mm-hmm.
This is Everclear. This is what I want them, talking and singing about, not Volvo driving soccer moms or Spike. I want, and we'll get to this one later on a different video, but it's in the vein of Heart Spark Dollar Sign. The Golden Rule, though, that one, that's like, hey, we better throw something for that one guy, that one bald guy that likes Slow Motion Daydream. We'll throw a track on there for him. That song sucks. But all in all, though, it is a good return to form for Everclear. I would recommend it.
I have a question. So me and Jason play guitar, and Joe, you've been around musicians, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
So when
Us.
you walk into when you walk into guitar when you walk into a guitar shop, do you think you hear that riff, that Everclear riff, just as much as you hear "Stairway to Heaven"? Would you say that's as
No,
popular?
No.
No, because every time,
No
the
one I
past few
know
times
plays
I've
that.
worked,
no. If I was gonna walk into a guitar, I don't go to guitar shops, but if I was to walk into one and people were around, I would not be like, "Hey guys, check it out!" Ding, ding,
no, no,
ding,
no, no.
ding,
I'm saying you
ding, ding.
hearing it, like not you playing it, like you hear it, like
Like on
I
the
don't know.
radio.
I think it has replaced "Stairway to Heaven" on guitar shops where you hear beginners go because it's just a simple riff. Anyways, I just
I
had to
don't hang
ask.
out at guitar shops. I couldn't tell you.
Yeah,
I couldn't imagine.
Well,
notably, I've been around a lot of
I
musicians in
go
my
get
life,
stuff.
but
I go get stuff at guitar shops, and
Especially
I
in
could have sworn the
2023,
last few
like I
times I've
don't
heard
think
it.
anybody cares about this band but us.
Yeah,
I'm a,
and hey,
what I'm gonna do
still,
is I'm gonna
guys,
make Ed teach me how to play the guitar
go,
through this.
go out there, and support your local guitar shops, guys.
That's right.
Don't just support them. They need the business.
They do.
And
Don't.
Joe, if you want to do a special on Patreon on how to play that riff, I will show you.
That'd be great. I got to get a guitar first. You got a Patreon. Hook me up. We need a guitar over here.
No, just get a keyboard. I'll show you how to play it on keyboard.
Okay,
Broken
go ahead, guys.
keyboard.
Go.
All right. So it is. That was Ed. That was Ed. So Ed, your turn again.
Oh, I was just talking. That's weird. Okay, sure. Songs from American Movie Volume Uno. Okay, I cannot describe or express how much I love the song "Wonderful." Okay, it is one of those. Okay, we talked about Flogging Molly. We talked about their acoustic track. Um, If I Ever Leave This World Alive, right? And when we got into that, we also talked about like songs that transcend a band, you know. And I think like this is one of them. This wonderful transcends Everclear. It's just one of those songs to me that like it just grew to be bigger than the band because it's such a good. It's so well written. It has got everything. It's got the hook. It's got the meaning. It's got the structure of the song is perfect. It is one of their masterpieces, I think. And I can't talk enough about that song. Everything that Otis Redding on this album is great. The opening track is fantastic. AM Radio, phenomenal song. Brown Eyed Girl, they have a cover in here for Josephus.
Josephus.
Um,
Josephus.
Holla at Josephus.
That's right.
But yeah, no, it's a good album, man. I'm gonna put it at 3 because it has everything I expect from Everclear, and Wonderful alone, just that one single, I think makes this album even more special. So.
All right. I've got a question. Ed, do you like Pharrell's "Happy"? Pharrell.
Is that happy?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Pharrell's, yeah.
Just curious. Now, "Wonderful" and "Happy" have nothing to do with each other. It just popped in my head. Because "Wonderful" is not exactly the happiest song in the world, but it just popped in my head.
I was gonna say you can't compare those.
No, those aren't
No,
Those
no,
aren't
no,
comparable.
because I'm happy. Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, I mean that's a
Just because
different
"Wonderful's" in the name doesn't
kind of
mean
song. This one,
that song's happy.
No,
It's not.
that is fuck.
Mm-hmm.
no,
Ed
it's
just
not,
put that
no,
on
but
us.
I can relate to that guy. I can relate to the lyrics that he's talking about. You know, growing up where he grew up. You know, or the character grew up or whatever. Talking about the mom or his parents, the way it had everything about it is just or the mom. I think of the mom in the song is telling them everything will be wonderful again, you know, and all that. Like it's just I don't know. It's just the hard times, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and people trying to make him feel better about it, you know. As a kid, I could see that, you know. Like I grew up, you know, a Hispanic kid, a bunch in a place there wasn't any Hispanics, you know. So
There
like
were not.
I could relate to parts of that song, you know, not being accepted and you know and all that. So it's
Especially if you grew up in Daphne, because I remember I moved from Pensacola,
yeah.
I was the minority, to Daphne, where I just looked around and it was just blinding with white, and then there's like a little brown speck. Like that was it. That was Ed.
That was this guy.
It's
And,
just him.
it's just the way the things were in the school. It's just that I can relate to the song, the kid growing up a little bit when it comes to like being alone, alienated, and all that. So it's a great song, man. It doesn't have a good. The song itself is not like a good things happening, but it makes me feel good because I can relate to it. So.
Absolutely. Jason, give me your number 3.
My number 3 is Sparkle and Fade. This album is phenomenal. It's kind of like a cross between World of Noise and So Much for the Afterglow. It's like the perfect mix of that more raw World of Noise and then that more clean poppy Afterglow. Santa Monica, we've already talked about that, heard it too many times, but it's a good song. Heroin Girl is hard and fast with great lyrics. You Make Me Feel Like a Whore has a throwback to World of Noise. I Hate the Way I'm Around You. I'm so nervous and weird. Summerland is one of my favorite songs on the album. It's just about getting away from everything and where the album title comes from. Heart Spark Dollar Sign. I remember it's so good, and it's sadly still relevant in this country. But it's a real. I don't think I have it as my top song, do I? So I got to talk about it now. Um, it's a true story. It's based on a true story where he was like 15, 16, and he was dating an African American girl, and both their parents, his mom and her parents, disagreed with it. And when you're young like that, when you're in love and blah blah blah, your parents have that ability to break it up, and that's what happens. And it's a really sweet song. The whole album is good. Chemical Smile, Pale Green Stars. I mean, it's a great album.
I am surprised where we are with your picks, Jason. I won't lie. But I agree with you. It's a great one. There's an album here that I didn't realize that you liked as much as you like. Apparently.
I'll get to that, and it's your fault.
Go. My number 3 is going to be Songs from American Movie Volume 1. I adore this album. I think that at the time that this album came out in my life, it fit very, very well for me. The the style they went in, how it was kind of I don't want to call it a softer album, but I guess it would be a softer album than the previous 3, basically. But I love it. I like how it starts. I love Song from American Movie Part 1. I like Here We Go Again. AM radio, I can give or take. There are some days where I'm like, oh, this is a fun song. I like what we're doing here. And some days I'm like, this is a corny song. So we're all of that. Brown Eyed Girl's fine. I think their cover is better than Lagwagon's cover. I think Brown Eyed Girl is a softer song at all times, but Learning How to Smile, I love that song. That's the title track, partially the title track. I love that song. It's great. Honeymoon song, that can go. And then everything after is amazing. Everything after I love. Now That It's Over, Thrift Store Chair, Otis Redding, Unemployed Boyfriend, wonderful Annabelle song. Just all really, really good things in there. I even like the weird phone call thing in Unemployed Boyfriend. I think it fits very well for what we're doing here. So yeah, just adore this album. I was really, really excited for Volume 2 because of how great I thought Volume 1 was. And then Volume 2 came out, and now, like I said, I looked back on it before this, listened through a little more fondly than I do. I knew that it wasn't my favorite of the two of them.
How are these albums connected? Because Volume 2 is really not good. Like, it's not as good as this one, So I don't know. Is there a connection? Like, is this they just decide, hey, let's just call
Supposed to be, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's supposed to be something. It has to do with obviously the titles being like I'm learning how to smile, I'm trying to be happy, and then the second one is just like it's a good time for me to have a bad attitude. It's a good time for it to be negative.
I haven't talked about it yet.
Yeah, and Jason has a little more on that.
Okay.
but he is frozen.
No, I'm not frozen. Is it
Oh,
my
there
turn? Are
you
you
go.
done? Are you done?
Yeah, yeah, I'm finished.
Oh, okay. I didn't know you were done. So my number 2 is learning how to smile.
There we go.
See that segue? That was good. All right.
Seamless.
I skipped this album when it came out. By 2000, I was like, deep into punk, and I had the previous Everclear albums. They were good, but I was into more faster things. I went listening to the radio. Um, it wasn't until I met Joe, that was 2003, and we started talking about Everclear, and I was like, yeah, they're okay, they're good. And he's like, oh, well, this album's really good. I'm like, whatever. And then he convinced me to get Songs from an American Movie Part 1 and 2 because, it's a concept album, and I love concept albums. So I did, and I listened to them, and 2 was horrible. But 1 is so good. It's a concept record. He was going through a divorce, and at the time, kind of like Joe, I can relate to a lot of it. But the opening, the only thing that ever made sense in my life is the sound of my little girl laughing through the window on a summer night. It starts it off, and it ends on the same song, just different lyrics and a little more instrumentation to it. It's genius. Makes me happy just to be alive. The little kid laughing at the end, like it just reminds me of Stockton and Aya being little and laughing. Um, Here we go again. I'm not sure that how that wasn't a single.
I don't
That's
know
not
either.
that's top tier Everclear. That chorus, "Oh baby, can't you see? There ain't no place I'd rather be than watching dirty movies in a happy room with you, sleeping on a mattress in the corner, eating Chinese food. I hear the voice in my head say, 'Here we go again.'" It's kind of like he's telling the story of the early days of his relationship with his wife. Like it tells the story of how they met. That's where AM Radio and Brown Eyed Girl has relevance. I think is because that was probably her favorite song or their song, and AM Radio talks about the olden days. But to me, those 2 songs can just you can put those on part 2. I don't care for those 2 songs. You could put the Good Witch of the North on the first one. You'd be good. Uh, I understand how it fits into the concept though. Learning how to smile. Joe's already talked about it. That is, again, yes, I know it's true.
Top
I'm just
tier.
learning how to smile, and that's not easy to do. It's similar to Summerland off of um,
Sparkling Fade.
Sparkling Fade. Yeah,
Hmm.
it's just about getting away. The honeymoon song I actually like. I mean, it's again, it's their honeymoon. It's weird because it's a ukulele song, so it doesn't really you don't really want to listen to it, but it
And
fits the concept.
it not being art, I don't know if that makes me think less of it. I just think it's kind of a. I don't know. I don't know what I think about
It's
that song.
goofy,
Yeah.
but it fits the theme,
Hmm.
and how the next song just like ends with honeymoon song ends with the fun didn't start until we left on our honeymoon,
Yeah.
and the very next song he just kicks in with yeah right,
Uh huh.
and that song is really good.
God, that's a good
Uh,
song.
Thrift Store Chair is like one of the best. It's not really a breakup song, but like I guess it's kind of reminds me of that Alkaline Trio song, Off the Map, where they're like fighting and
Uh-huh.
it's like kind of the end of the marriage. Um, Otis Redding is another one with it reminiscing about the good times.
I
Unemployed
I
Boyfriend.
love Otis Redding and Thrift Store Chair being back to back.
Yeah, yeah. Unemployed Boyfriend, that clip, I bet that's how they met. Like, I bet that's why that's in there. I'm sure it's not them, I'm sure it's like a re recording of that
Uh huh.
conversation. Wonderful is so poppy and so happy sounding, but it is not happy at all. Um, I think that song's written from his daughter's perspective. That's how I take it. Because it's kind of like talking about parents, you know, fighting and splitting, and then the closing track, Annabelle's song, is about his daughter. It's sweet and it's sad and it's just a really great closer. Like the album, I highly recommend it.
Hmm.
If you take the closing track off of part 2 and maybe the Good Witch of the North and swap out AM Radio and Brown Eyed Girl, you have probably the best Everclear album.
And Jason, I agree with everything you just said.
All right, that's a good edit.
That is a good edit.
Not gonna lie, Jason, that was pretty insightful, pretty marvelous.
There you go.
It sounded like a dissertation at a college.
That'll be
I
seamless.
like
Right?
concept records, man. Wait till we get to My Chemical Romance. Whew.
Wait till we get to
and I
Cody and
agree.
Cambria.
Fuck that band.
I agree with everything you said about that record, that album. I think that album is phenomenal. So yeah.
I
You have a soft spot for some soft music sometimes. Like I remember going through your records, through your albums, and you had like all this hard punk and fast punk and pop punk, but then you got to like Counting Crows. Yeah, you know what I mean.
Oh fuck.
And then
Wait till we get to Counting Crows, man.
and then you could flip in Tom Petty. Like it was just like the randomest things that when you would find. Then Britney Spears was in there somewhere too, but.
Counting Crows is my favorite band.
No, Counting Crows is fantastic, man. But anyways, I've always enjoyed that about Jason. Always has these soft spots for some soft music, which is cool.
Yeah.
Except for Elvis. I know you don't like Elvis.
No, never liked Elvis.
Never be like it. Okay, so my number 2 album, chit chatting about, is here's the problem with my number 2 album and my number 1 album. I think they're both amazing. I think that they're both top tier albums. I, at any day, could choose this one over the other one. For the sake of me having to choose one, we're going to go with Sparkle and Fade.
Okay, I was about to say you better choose right.
Yeah, and it's tough for me to tell you that Sparkle and Fade is a number 2 album because I love this album. I think it's amazing. I think if you left me alone with Sparkle and Fade and So Much for the Afterglow, just as 2 albums for Everclear that ever came out, I'd be a happy little camper. Now, I do love me some Songs from American Movie Volume 1, don't get me wrong, but these 2 albums are kind of on a different platform for me, as far as I'm concerned. Songs from American, Sparkle and Fade, we're way off here. It just starts out great. Electra Made Me Blind. Love it. Obviously, we have a throwback to the previous album when we were talking about. He was talking about Electra making him blind. So we have a whole song named after it. Heroin Girl, just amazing. He Made Me Feel Like a Whore, obviously Santa Monica. Summerland, I think a hidden gem on this album. I don't know if enough people talk about how great Summerland is. But
it's so good.
It's just so good. Heart Spark Dollar Sign is, Jason spoke about it on his end, but we grew up in the South where having a significant other or girlfriend who had a different skin tone than you was not looked upon very well. So even, in high school, I took a girl to a dance, and even though we were in a pretty small clique, it was still looked upon kind of askance. The people that we knew and people we were going to dance with were completely fine with it, but anyone on the outside was.
And it's also good to point out right about now because I don't know how old the people watching these are. The world has changed a lot in the last 20 years. Okay, it's not the same place that it was when this was going on, and I mean some things still the same, which is a shame. But I'm just saying the acceptance of things that you see more around today was not the same 20 years ago when we were all going through that time. So
yeah, at my wedding some money came up missing, and they're all my dad, he was like, oh, it was probably Ed. Ed was always stealing stuff from our house, and it's like, why has it got to be Ed?
And I never did.
No, Ed would never fucking steal from me. Come on, man.
No, man. I mean, it's just the old school. And by the way, shout out to Gary, man. I love that man. Towards the end, he was a phenomenal person.
Yeah. You remember, because we used to take his camcorder and I'd film stuff, and then he would get to where he'd like hide certain pieces. The battery would be over here, and this would be over here, and he'd be like, he couldn't find it because he hid it from himself. He blamed.
And honestly, like outside of this conversation, I do have one really cool memory with Gary. It was the last time I spoke with him. We went on a beer run, and in his truck, and just to kind of put at the end, I'm gonna write a song about this one day. But he did apologize for all that, by the way.
Oh, that's
I
nice.
thought it was super cool. And he that's the as weird as the last memory I have of him. He was a good dude, man. Good dude.
Oh yeah, we made amends. I might
He
talk more about him and Leonard Skinner.
he did not apologize for being whenever Jason and I danced around a corner drunk and ran into him and
Oh no,
being
he
like,
was mad at me.
I'm gonna. Is it okay if I sleep here? And he's like, this is the last time. Of course, it wasn't the last time, but Miss Pam loved me. But Gary was a hoot. I
Oh,
love
Miss
Gary.
Pam's a saint, dude. Miss Pam's going straight to heaven.
My co-hosts are frozen again, so we will see how this plays
Oh my
out.
lord,
Y'all been frozen for quite some time. So Twisted Side, her brand new skin, great. Queen of Air, Pale Green, The Stars, Chemical Smile, My Sexual Life, just all really, really good songs. The sound of this album, I think Jason said it. Taking the World of Noise kind of sound and mixing it with so much for the afterglow and the kind of more poppy-ish. That's a weird way to describe it, boy. The more poppy-ish of a tune and mixing with a little harder of a sound. I really just adore this album. I think it's great.
all right. Well, are we still frozen?
Yes,
I'm gonna buy you a damn Ethernet cable, you 200 feet Ethernet cable.
I love that idea. So yeah, that's my number two. Ed, give me your number two.
Oh, my number 2 is pretty easy, sir. Kind Sir, Sparkle and Fade. Can't say I get enough about this album, man. This is fantastic. And by the way, 1 and 2 I can flip back and forth. It's not. This is the Everclear sound, the rock, the pop is there, the lyrics are there, the way he sings them. Electra made me blind. I love that track. That's a great opening track. Heroin Girl, great follow up. Summerland, Strawberry. Man, I don't know. This whole album is just good. This is one I want on vinyl. Same as my number 1, but you can pick any of these, and I will agree that it's a good song because I just like all these songs. Because it's a good album. I can listen to it from the back.
Absolutely. Jason, that leaves you number 1.
Are you sure you want me to talk about this first?
I'm not sure of that.
We're all the same, so you can just drag them all.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you guys don't want to say anything about it before I talk about it.
Yeah. I'll start off for funsies. I'll let y'all wax poetic a little bit. So
Let me
much.
go first.
Okay, you go first. Fine.
This is a good album. Go.
Because it's a good album. It's their best album. It's iconic. That cover alone. Everybody had this album in high school. You went through anybody's CD disc thing, this was on there, okay? Even if they didn't have the other ones. It's iconic. It's just so good. So Much for the Afterglow is probably one of the best openers. Straight up. I'm not lying. It is one of the best openers to a record, to an album that I've ever heard. It's just that good. Normal Like You has to be one of my top songs. I love that song. One Hit Wonder, yes, good one. I mean, and I have to mention it, Like a California King, because it's got the title on it.
Hashtag California bias.
That's right.
It's a good album, man. It's another one, top to the last song. I'd jam to this all anytime. So, anyways, go.
So I think Ed said it very well. The reason it's my number 1 is because of the opening track. That is just that's a way to
So
open
good.
an album. It's such a great way to get anything. And following it right up with Everything Everyone is amazing. I don't know how to pronounce that word, ataraxia. Great. Then you get into 2 like radio hits. I'll Buy You a New Life, Father Mine. So good. I love their instrumental, El Distorto de Melicata. And then, whereas a lot of people will trail off at the back half of their album, we run into Amphetamine, White Men in the Black Suits, Sunflowers, Why I Don't Believe in God, Like a California King, and just ram it home. Personally, I think Amphetamine, White Men in the Black Suits, Sunflowers, and Why I Don't Believe in God could have started the album. I mean, that it was those songs are so
tunes,
good
man.
they could have
Yeah.
been at the beginning. And everyone in high school knew this. Obviously, this album. I met one of the reasons I even got into the back half of this album was because there was a girl who told me her favorite Everclear songs were "Amphetamine" and "White Men in the Black Suits," and I was like, really? I'd heard the hits a lot, but I'd never given it the full attention that I needed to, and I started listening to the whole album. And I was like, oh my god! And that's how I found "Sparkle and Fade" and
I
started
would
listening it.
I would put this album up there with like Sublime's first title, self-titled. Like, is that iconic? I think like it's just so all these songs are so embedded in our heads.
Mm-hmm.
I bet people know I think we talked about in the Sublime one that we did for Patreon, like how people just know the song that's coming right after because they've heard it so many times that you just know what song is after. You
Yeah.
might not know the name of it, but you know the lyrics. You know what I mean? And
Mm-hmm.
that is just one of those albums that gets to that point.
That is peak Everclear. Like I played this album so damn loud back in '97. That opening, like you guys said, that ooh and it just harmonizes, and then it just kicks in with that. This is a song about Susan. The singles they were all great. They were poppy, good. Father of Mine though, holy shit! I don't want to get too personal on it, but that song was too damn relatable. Like it put my 17-year-old ass in tears when I heard that song. That is a powerful song lyrically. Um, the instrumental El Distorto is really good. It's a little too long. I usually skip it about halfway through, but uh, White Men in Black Coats, the intro from Green Day's "What's Her Name" does not sound like the intro to what White Men in Black Coats.
Black Suits.
Black Suits. It sounds just like what's her name.
Huh.
It's kind of it's almost like a precursor to songs from an American movie. And it's a perfect example of what Everclear. The topics are really dark, but the music is so happy sounding for the most part, and it usually has like an up note at the end. Like it usually has a good ending for the most part. Sunflowers. The song will always remind me of my mom because this is one of those albums that I was like, here, mom, you'll like this, and gave her a copy of it. And so she went on like a huge kick for a while of this album, and she loved this song. She said, the lyrics, yes, I think you think I'm stupid. You don't think I understand. Yes, I see you and I see myself when I was a younger man, woman, because it's my mom. When you were a child, you were happy and free. You were you were my reason to live. I would die when you smiled at me. I could still see you. I remember you painting sunflowers in your room. Now that I have a teenager, I get it. Like I get that song a lot more. Why I don't believe in God, I'm gonna skip that one for another video. Stay tuned for top songs. Like a California King though is probably my least favorite song on the album. An album that strong needed a better closing track than that one. It's still good, but
Yeah, and I'm with
as a
you.
whole,
That opening is so good that you figured that last would always. Yeah, no, I understand. I get that.
it's too
I
mid.
just get.
It's too mid, as the kids
I
say.
think "Why I Don't Believe in God"
Either
is a better closer.
yeah, if they would have went on something like quiet, soft, acoustic
Hmm.
almost, or if they would have went like
Yeah,
super hard, like the opening, it would have been like a good bookend.
it
But with
wasn't
like just
balanced.
a
Yeah,
normal mid-tempo song, it's just a weird ending.
yeah.
And there's
Well,
the closing track too, or the hidden
yeah.
track.
Yeah.
Hating you for Christmas. That
Yeah,
is. Yeah.
that's good too.
Well,
It's
they've
it's
always had that sense of humor, man. I mean, they're a punk band at heart. I always think that, like, they always have that, the weird tracks. But
to me, this is one of the when people talk in the '90s, they always talk Nirvana, Pearl Jam, the early stuff. But in 1997, this is like the tail end. Like this is like one of those quintessential '90s records that you should listen to. It's
Yes.
that
yeah,
good.
so is this what they call post grunge or post?
Post
I
Malone.
mean,
I believe they refer to this as Post Malone.
Yeah, I mean it's a little past that almost. Like to me, I think of like 95, 6, like Bush and
yeah,
that type of stuff. Everclear just kind of. I mean,
came
I
towards the end.
guess Sparkle and Fade was kind of in that time frame, but this album was just like a pure pop rock goodness. Like it is
Yeah.
so good.
Uh, yep. Closing thoughts, Ed.
No, an Everclear's iconic band. Um, the first, those three, one, two, and three, have to be listened to. Anything after that, slim pickings here and there. But um, it's it's just a tricky band, man. They went through a lot. We didn't even talk about the breakup or any of that happened with the original members and Art doing his own thing, still calling it Everclear, which I don't think that's right. I don't think musicians should do that, especially for the
I
fans.
mean, he's kind of Everclear. Like he's
Yeah, but the sound changed completely, man. Like it wasn't the
art
same,
changed it.
you
I
know.
mean, to me,
Well, yeah, maybe. I don't know. I don't know the full story, but it's just it was weird, And if they want to keep calling it Everclear, anyways, but it's just not the last albums I really didn't care for, but the first three I do.
Yeah, and Ed, I'm usually on your side about people keeping the band name after 2/3 of the band leaves. But in Everclear's case, Art really was the driving force. I mean, he was the songwriter. Now he
yeah, I
didn't
mean,
write the music necessarily, but every time I looked at a song, it was like Art Alexakis, Art Alexakis. Um, I do think their sound changed not for the better without them. I do like Invisible Stars. I think that's a very fine Everclear album. That to me that fits the lineage of Everclear. Whenever I listen to Everclear, but I think the first three albums that we've listed, all three of us, are must listen tos. World of Noise, I think, is great. The 30th anniversary is still noisy. I still think that's great. And if you're looking for something a little different, Slow Motion Daydream. But after that, it's fine.
I'm gonna go one further. I'm gonna say that the top four are must listens. If you've ever heard Everclear before, then the top four. If you've never heard Everclear, then the top three. But
Yeah.
Invisible Stars is really really good. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
It does require a couple listens though. It's not a one listen album. I think it's just one of the you kind of gotta
The
have a
first time I
appreciation.
heard it, because I heard it when it first came out, and I was like, "Holy shit, this is Everclear!" Because the last two albums were not Everclear. That was trash. The last three
Yeah.
albums were
Just
trash.
rough. But as you can see, all of our number ones are the same. Surprisingly, all of our number two aren't. I'm very surprised with that with Jason.
I'm surprised too. I thought you liked American Movie better than
I love American Movie, but Sparkling Fate is.
you're the one that made me fucking listen to that
I
record. I was
know.
done with Everclear. I was like, yeah, whatever. I
What's
heard
funny?
Wonderful, and I was like, yeah, it's a good song, but it just sounds like Everclear. It sounds like everything else they've done.
What's
But then in the
crazy is the
context,
time I was listening to Songs from American Movie Volume One. Is I was living in the house not far from your parents' house in Daphne. So that's when I fell in love with this album. It was on Ivy Circle, right near where you live. So
Buena Vista.
that's right. All right, gang. So that is our definitive ranked albums of Everclear. Thank you so much for watching. We know we're your favorite YouTube people, and you're our favorite people who watch YouTube. So that's kind of how that works out.
Hit that subscribe. Be number 50.
That's right. We need the 50. So please like, share, subscribe, and talk to your local theater and see if they'll play us on the big screen. You know what's better than watching us on your phone or iPad or laptop? Watching us on a giant screen. I mean, you'll be amazed by Ed's debonair looks or how cool Jason's beard really is. So, speak to the manager, email the corporation, or hell,
Hey, hey,
just.
no CGI here. We're all practical
That's
effects.
right. That's right.
You won't get no avatar here.
This is real. This is real life, guys. So yeah, hell, I don't. If you have it somehow, you can sneak in there and just put it when people are going to see the new Marvel movie instead of them getting to watch us. I think it's a good time. I have a good time watching our videos, so we hope you do also. Until we see you next time, stay safe, make good decisions.
Good night.
Good night.